Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. This is episode 153. We are kind of wrapping up October. Halloween is next week. It has been unseasonably warm here in the New York area. It's like, summer still giving us some gifts as we get into October. There was literally I think 86 degrees or something like that when I was coming to work on Tuesday. It's cooling off a bit, but I think we still got some warm days ahead of us. So I'll take anything we can get. As you know, the doc is no fan of the winter. I love the fall, but the winter is not my favorite. But it is what it is. So this podcast is going to be kind of similar to other podcasts that I've done or other posts that I've done. This time of year, while I'm working out, I watch ESPN a lot. That's pretty much what I watch. I'll watch some other stuff sometimes. But what I find is this time of year, which is the Medicare enrollment period. So Medicare enrollment is listen, I'm no expert on Medicare. So I will say, don't take any of this without doing your own research. But I'm going to tell you what I do know. And, I know a bit about the way things work. But this time of year, I think the Medicare enrollment is from October 15th to December 7th. And there's just a million commercials. When I'm watching SportsCenter or whatever it is on ESPN, I feel like every other commercial is about, if you qualify for Medicare, you might be missing out on some key benefits. Call 1-800 blah, 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 blah. And, every other commercial is literally one of these things. And with every commercial that I see, I get more and more enraged, because what these 1-800 numbers are is they connect you with an insurance representative or a salesperson that really try to hawk you one of these Medicare Advantage plans, which are just crap as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to go over that with you. I think they named it actually Medicare Part C. It's crap. It stands for crap. So Medicare Part C, in my mind, is Medicare Part crap. But I'm going to go over that with you in a little bit. I'm going to go over why I think that's the case. But I figured it'd be a good opportunity to kind of just go over Medicare a little bit. As the longer I've been in practice, and the grayer I get and the longer in tooth I get, the more I learn about this sort of stuff. A lot of my patients do ask me about it. And as you know, I'm no fan of private health insurance companies. And, the more that I've struggled dealing with those just vile institutions, the more I've just learned about how horrible the system is and how patients and their doctors are getting screwed by these disgusting companies like United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, yada, yada, yada. So anyways, the way Medicare works, and this is actually all coming from the Medicare website. I printed out a little screenshot that I took this morning. So the way Medicare works is it's broken down into parts, and Part A covers your hospital stuff. So if you get admitted into the hospital, that's Part A. Part B is your medical insurance, essentially. So when you go to the doctor, that's what covers your doctor visits. So if someone comes to see me and then Medicare, that Part B covers that. Then there's Part D, which is your drug coverage. And then there's Part F, G, and N, which are your Medigap plans. So, Part F is the most comprehensive. Part G is a little less, is a little more out-of-pocket expense. And Part N is a little bit more out-of-pocket expense than Part G. The way Medicare works is, there's a deductible. I forget what the exact amount is, but once you meet that deductible, then Medicare covers 80% of whatever the charges are from your doctor. Most or nearly all of my patients have what's called Medigap coverage, which basically covers whatever those out-of-pocket expenses are. So those are Part F, G, and N. F covers basically 100% of it, but obviously you're paying more for it. G covers a little bit less than F, and N covers a little bit less than G. Again, that's a very dumbed down version, but that's basically what's going on. Now, there's something called Medicare Part C, which are the Medicare Advantage plans. And I've talked about this before. Medicare Advantage plans only offer one advantage, and that is to the private health insurer. So the way these work are, the federal government basically pays, it's sort of a capitation system. They basically would pay United Healthcare X amount of dollars per individual that signs up for the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan. And the goal of any health insurance company is obviously to maximize their profits, increase the price of their shares, to benefit their shareholders, their CEO, et cetera, et cetera. As you know, the CEO of United, I forget the exact amount, but it's something $18 million a year or something like that he or she makes. They're all like that, Aetna, Cigna, they're all like that. But The way they make their money is they basically hold on to the money that goes into the pot. So if you have private health insurance, all of us pay our premiums. And the way the health insurance is profitable is they basically deny benefits. They basically deny the patient benefits, like, oh, no, we're not going to pay for that MRI, or we're not going to pay for that surgery, or whatever it may be. And they deny payments to doctors. So the doctors see the patient, they cure the patient, they submit their charts to the insurance company, and then, United Healthcare will say, hey, yeah, you know what? We're actually not going to pay you for curing the patient because there's this I was not dotted on the claim submission form or some crazy shit like that. And it's incredibly infuriating. So what the government decided to do was, you know what? We're going to use the private health insurance system infrastructure to, quote unquote, expand Medicare benefits. So basically what they said is, okay, United, for every person you sign up, we're going to give you X amount of thousands of dollars. And, the more people you sign up, the more thousands of dollars you get. I think it's something crazy, like $18 billion or something that goes to these, probably even more than that, to be honest with you, that go to the private health insurers. It's probably much more than that, actually, but it's an egregious amount of money. And the more people that United Healthcare signs up, the more money they get from the government, and the more money that's sitting in their pot. They're sitting on a pot of gold. And what they want to do is they don't want to use that to, for patient care. They don't want to use that for patients to benefit from, going to see their doctor. They want to deny patients, medications that they may need or procedures that they may need. And they also want to deny doctors payment for services they've already rendered, because the more money that goes out of the pot, the less rich they are. So what they do is they take our taxpayer dollars and they sit on it, and they basically deny benefits and they deny payments to doctors. So they screw patients over and screw their doctors over to enrich themselves. And we are paying for it. We taxpayers are paying for these Medicare Part C plans. And you'll see on these commercials, they'll say, hey, you might, if you qualify for Medicare, you might be missing out on these great benefits. And they'll throw you a bone. They're like, if you sign up for this Medicare Advantage plan, you'll get $20 to your gym membership every month, or we'll pay for $100 to your groceries every month, or you get a dental cleaning once a year, or we'll pay for your hearing test or something like that. Listen, obviously it sounds enticing. It's wow, it's like Medicare, but I get so much more. What an advantage, Medicare Advantage plans. But the truth is, they're only offering you a bone because, they're still going to make their money. So if they're paying you $100 to get some groceries or for a gym membership, listen, trust me, they're making thousands of dollars on the back end. For every $100 they're spending, they're keeping 900 of those dollars that we're paying into the system. Their whole point of this, it's like a bait and switch. We're going to bait you and get you to sign up for our system. You're stuck with us for a year, and we're just going to milk that system as much as we can to maximize our profits. That's what these evil health insurers do. So going back to the bottom of this printout is basically explains what the difference between original Medicare and Medicare Advantage is. Now, original Medicare includes Part A and Part B. So that's your hospital coverage and your basically doctor's visits. You can join a separate Medicare drug plan to get Medicare drug coverage. That's Part D, as we discussed. You can use any doctor or hospital that takes Medicare anywhere in the U.S. Now, 98% of doctors take Medicare. So, most of us take Medicare. But a very small, well, not a small, much smaller percentage, I will say, take Medicare Advantage plans. So for instance, I don't participate in a bunch of Medicare Advantage plans because they're basically the shit on the bottom of my shoe if I step in a pile of dog shit. But I do take Medicare, and most doctors actually follow that. 98% of doctors take Medicare. A much smaller percentage take Medicare Advantage plans. I take some Medicare Advantage plans. I don't take other Medicare Advantage plans. It's really kind of based on the plan, just how painful they are to deal with on our end of things. I'll get to that in a minute. So that's that. And then the last thing for original Medicare is you can also shop to buy supplemental coverage that helps pay your out-of-pocket costs, like your 20% coinsurance. So that's the Part F, G, and N that I described. Now, Medicare Advantage plans, also known as Part C, short for crap. Medicare, and this is how they describe Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is a Medicare-approved plan from a private company like United, Cigna, etc., that offers an alternative to original Medicare for your health and drug coverage. These bundle plans include Part A, Part B, and usually Part D. So they basically cover your hospital, they cover your doctor's visits, and they'll have like a drug coverage plan. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. In many cases, you can only use doctors who are in the plan's network. So like I mentioned, most doctors take Medicare. A lot of doctors don't take a particular Medicare Advantage plan. Plans often have different out-of-pocket costs than original Medicare or supplemental coverage like Medigap. You may also have an additional premium. So like, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you might be charged a copay, you might have a deductible, yada, yada, yada. Plans may offer some extra benefits that original Medicare doesn't. And basically those are the, like the gym memberships and, like the other stuff that I mentioned, like grocery bills and things like that. So the big issue is there's really like no regulation trying to recruit patients into these plans. So like, I can just imagine, my mom who is going to be 86 years old soon, like watching TV and be like, oh man, like, sees this commercial and it's like, you think to yourself, oh my God, I'm missing out on something. Like, look at all these great benefits that I'm missing out on. But the problem is when you actually need to use your health insurance, you realize, oh my God, I have like this crazy deductible, or my doctor doesn't take this Medicare Advantage plan, and the doctor who does take it has like a 6-month wait because there's so few doctors who take this particular Medicare Advantage plan. Or like, the medication that I use is not covered because it's just too expensive for the insurance company. It dips in to their profits. Whereas if you had like a Part D plan, it might be covered with conventional Medicare. So Medicare Part C for crap. I just think they're just awful plans that are enriching the private health insurers off our taxpayer dollars. And the more of these commercials I see, the more enraged I get. Now, what I generally recommend my patients, and everyone has different, needs, et cetera. And so take this all with a grain of salt. And, everyone has their own situation. But in an ideal world, you'd have Medicare Part A, B, you get a Part D plan, which covers your prescription drug coverage, and then you get a Part F plan. Like, that's what I basically recommend my mom do. Just because if you're traveling, and you get sick, there's going to be a doctor who takes your plan. Whereas if you have like the Medicare Advantage plan for like this area and down in Florida or somewhere else in the country, there's a very high likelihood that your doctor will not participate in that plan, and then you're basically up shit's creek. So Medicare, bueno. Medicare Part C, crapo. It's a scam. It is really an infuriating scam and a way for private health insurers, who are absolutely the most disgusting, vile, evil institutions that exist on this planet. It's a way for them to enrich themselves off of your back as a patient, off of my back as a provider, off of all of us who pay taxes, and it's just wrong. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, restful weekend, and we're just ready to crush the week ahead. Let's get it.